about the real estate market update, man, and it has just been jamming. There's been some amazing stories about what's happening to Hawaii's market. Really, really, really interesting. So, Dylan, fill us in. What have you been kind of sensing over the past 2 weeks since our last show that you kind of want to share about what's going on the Big Island?
Yeah, the numbers haven't come out for October yet, but just from what we're feeling and what I'm seeing amongst my team and other agents is that it's just totally crushed right now. Everybody is busy, so that's one of the things that if we're trying to manage expectations with buyers is that everything is slow. So the escrow companies are backed up, the survey companies are backed up, the termite companies are backed up, lenders are overloaded with refis, so the lending process to get a loan approved is slower. So we're seeing very little close on time, but there's still a ton of business going on. And we were just talking earlier, October is on track to be my best month ever in real estate. And it's kind of a crazy thing coming out of this lockdown. And, really all of these transactions started 30 to 60 days ago and they're closing in October. So, during the height of the lockdown is when most of these went into escrow, and it continues to be that way. The rest of the year is looking like it's going to be crazy. The last 2 weeks have just been like almost every single day new transactions are opening. So there's definitely no end in sight. And that slowdown that everyone was speculating about for months and months and we've been saying isn't going to happen is still not happening. If anything, it's getting faster. So
I really want to comment on that. And then Jim over here, who's been our most loyal listener. Jim, you've been, I think, on every single show that we've had since day one. So Jim would know. You can confirm or deny this, Jim. But basically, everything that we've said, we've kind of made these predictions, week after week after week. One of the biggest ones, a couple of key ones was that, people were wondering, is the market going to crash? And we're like, no, the market's solid. It's going to, if anything, it's going to go up. And then the other thing that we talked about, we said, look, we're going to be opening soon. You want to get in on this because there's going to be a huge rush of people, and boom, just like we said. So it's kind of been fun. And, our predictions are on video. You could go back and watch them. You could look at every one of those videos and you could see what we said. So it's kind of really, really cool. We either documented our bad or good predictions, and thankfully our predictions are good. There's another Heidi Heidi Dornfield. Aloha, Heidi. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Dylan, while I've got you on your segment here, we had a question that came up, a really good one here. So by Pearson, given COVID and the high carrying cost until the economy recovers, what do you feel is the best investment for an oceanfront complex condo under $400K in Kona? 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom studio? Dylan, how would you respond to that?
I gotta assume that things will go back to normal at some point. So there is going to be, and I actually just put exactly what you're talking about, a little bit higher than 400,000, but a oceanfront condo into escrow 2 days ago. That it was funny because I wrote an offer on that same unit about a year ago, right before the lockdown, and it was listed at 600, and we wrote it for 550 because that's what I thought it was worth, and our offer was rejected. And then it comes back on the market a week ago for 550, and so my buyer got it for even less than that. So it actually ended up working out. But they're speculating that they're going to have a few months where things are going to be slow, but at some point the renters are going to come back, the tourists are going to come back. So it may be a good time to get a deal on, because if there is a place to get a deal right now, it is on condos where the owners are either cannot carry the carrying costs anymore or don't want to continue to have that risk. And so there are definitely some deals to be had in the condo market, not so much in the single family home market, because there's just a lot of demand for that, and the market is really hot. So yeah, if there's any time, now's the time if you're going to look for something like that. Oceanfront for 400, that's nice, is going to be rough though in Kona. There are condos under 400, but they're not going to have a great view. They're definitely not going to be oceanfront, and they may need some upgrading. So
if you want a nice 1 bedroom, let's just say studio, if you want a nice 1 bedroom studio oceanfront in Kona, what should you expect to pay?
Just under 400. There's a few like White Sand. If you're familiar with Magic Sands or White Sands, one of the great beaches. There's a small complex that exactly like that where it's a studio just under 400, but they're few and far between. Most of them are going to be higher than that.
So if you wanted to kind of have a good pick, what would you say? 500?
Yeah, five around five,
Okay,
five and
around
mid
five.
fives.
In the neighborhood of five. Great, excellent. Thanks, Dylan, and thank you, Pearson. We appreciate that. Let's go clockwise. Heidi, fill us in? What's been the market like? You're saying you're busy. What's happening in Maui?
Well, it's definitely been busy. Ever since the 15th, as travel has opened up. I mean, I have appointments every day with showings, and all throughout COVID, our single family home market's been super strong and probably stronger than ever. I mean, even things out in super remote areas, off grid, those things have been selling. Now, the vacation rental condo market has been slow, but all of a sudden in the last couple weeks, I'm getting all these calls to show vacation rental condos, and people are looking for opportunities, and these owners that are selling, I mean, they have been paying all the carrying costs for months with no income. So, it could be a good opportunity, but I mean, prices are strong and stable. So I always set the expectation with the clients. I mean, people looking for a bargain basement deal, they're not going to get one, but they possibly could get a better deal than before. So it's an interesting time, and a lot of people are moving around and moving here. So anyway, it's lots of fun, but be ready to follow all the COVID protocols and fill out the paperwork and show that you have a negative COVID test before any showing. We have a lot of things to do just to ensure that we keep people safe as realtors going around showing properties.
Yeah, that's definitely the safety factor is a real big deal. Scott, so here's what I'm hearing from Dylan and from Heidi, which is single family home market is strong. There may be opportunities in the condo if it's sort of a short-term vacation rental kind of a property because of the financial difficulty. Scott, what's going on? What have you seen over the past 2 weeks of Oahu on the real estate market that you want to share?
Yeah, it's the same thing here, and I would say the COVID protocols and things have definitely, like Dylan mentioned, have slowed up a lot of the process, for the transaction side. But I would also say it's kind of, there's some interesting things going on in the marketplace. I mean, I did an open house on where I was last time in that Kahala home, which were listed just under 5 million. And I had 38 parties to the open house, normally for my first open house in that price range, I would expect 10 to 15 parties. And I had to have someone help me where, we had 5 parties waiting outside the door while two parties are inside, distance from each other, a lot of navigating. One party leaves, okay, you can come in. So to get 38 through was a lot. And so you see it throughout the entire marketplace, even on the high end, we're busy. And there's an interesting thing, just our inventory is down almost 50%. So what's available for buyers to choose from is almost half of what it was at the same time last year. Our number of sales are up 13% from last year. So there's a strong buyer demand and a lot less inventory in the market. So it's really starting to push prices up and making it challenging for buyers. They got to be patient because, you may miss out on 1, 2, or 3 properties that you go after strongly here in the meantime.
Yeah, in fact, I saw an article, Scott, that Oahu's median single family home price had a record climb, something like 13% jump over the previous year, something like that.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing that I just saw that I haven't seen before is I always talk about a list to sales price ratio. If you come on at 100,000, what's the percentage negotiation room that you should expect? And we're usually between 96 and 98%, and we just hit 100%. So on average, every single home that's selling on this island is selling at what the list price is. Now, that's not the case. Some get bid up and some are lower, but we're hitting 100% list to sales price ratio. I haven't seen that in a long time.
So that to me indicates that the homes are underpriced. If they're getting their listing price, they're right almost by definition, right? They're slightly underpriced. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's supply and demand,
Supply and demand. Yeah. Hey.